And I really feel like if we are honest, and that is what Sagittarius is the blunt, bloody truth. If a blunt truth has come out recently around you, for you, or to someone that you know that it is likely to happen. We are not victims. The planets are not doing things to us. Hey Moon lovers, welcome to another episode of All Things Moon, Lunar Wisdom for Everyday Life with myself, Kelly Jones. So those of you that love listening to my podcast, I deeply apologise. Where have I been? Composting has been the word that I have been using. And funnily enough, I'm just looking, I use my iPhone to film. And I'm just looking at the back of my iPhone cover, and it's a cover that it's got mushrooms all over it. And mushrooms has been kind of a subject of this week here in the UK, because they have decided to ban the use and production of products with turkey tail and cordyceps in. A completely another subject for another day, but it kind of brings me nicely to where have I been? I have been composting, and to be honest, I still am. So I am going to be filling you in on the new moon in Sagittarius that we have coming up on the 20th. So in the UK, that will be at 1:43 in the morning so that's Saturday morning, the 20th. That's when the moon will be new moon exact. I'm actually holding an online new moon ceremony on Friday evening, the 19th at 8 p.m. UK time. So if you would like to find out loads more about what's going on with the current astrology, what this moon phase might mean for you personally, because we do have a look to see where each moon phase is showing up for you in your life, then you are welcome to join me online. And whilst I have been composting in the background, I have been creating so that when I'm finally ready to grow from out of the compost, this is probably the most nutritious compost that I've ever grown out of, because literally everything in my life in the past few months since my birthday, if you've been following me since then, since Uranus moved into Gemini and now has moved back into Taurus, pretty much every department of my life has been kind of wiped out in some way, ready to be reviewed and renewed. So literally a piece of everything in that compost to grow and create from where I am now. And that's what I wish for you, because what I have realized through some of the lessons, the strong Saturnian lessons that have been coming up this year, is that I'm going to own this and say, I think I have been trying to take the old version of me with me wherever I've been going, which is absolutely exhausting, waiting to be that again and not really honoring who I am now. So all these hard challenges that have come up this year have basically floored me enough to be still and to feel what I'm feeling. And along with those feelings comes epiphany and realization. So just before I came on, I thought, what cards are we going to use? It's a new moon. So the new moon is all about going inward. So when the moon is new, it means the moon and the sun are together in the same sign. So the sun is still in Sagittarius at the moment, until the 21st, when the sun will move into Capricorn and we have the winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere. So the return of the sun, the end of the darkest days, and the return of the lighter days. So, in the witchy pagan world and other worlds, this is kind of the beginning of the year. It's a new year. I like to think of the new year really doesn't really feel like the new year until April when it's spring. But anyway, before I came on, I thought, what oracle cards do I want to have next to me? So I'm still really feeling the new Inner Temple oracle cards from that Rebecca Campbell has just brought out. And it comes with this lovely altar. And this card was the last card that I pulled, and it was sitting in this frame here. So if you are listening to me on audio, I apologize if you can't see this. But it is the card that is called the In-Between. And I thought, rather than giving you the whole story of what's been happening to me, maybe I'll do that in another podcast sometime and tell you my story. And obviously, if you join me live online on my moon ceremonies, then we do discuss, more personal things there. But I want this to be quite general, and I want everybody out there who's listening to gain something from the wisdom that comes from being in the in-between. We have Saturn and Neptune at the end of Pisces. So if you have been listening, if you look back in my podcast, you'll see that there is one called an ending, a beginning. But we really are coming up to that ending now, and we really will be having that beginning. So that will be Saturn and Neptune will be together in the sign of Aries at 0 degrees of Aries, the very beginning of the zodiac story on February the 20th in 2026. So that means that we really are composting as a collective. We are at that end stage when everything is decaying so that something new can grow. Here it is, we're moving from that autumn feeling into winter. Last week was, I think, the last day of really, really hard work of collecting wet, soggy leaves and putting them on the compost pile. And I literally was doing that because my partner, Tom, is a gardener, and I work with him one day a week. And that was a super hard day. We spent at least 3 hours just consistently collecting leaves, putting them in a ton bag, which is how it was really for me depicting how heavy this has felt. Dragging that bag up the compost pile, tipping it and emptying it and starting over again. So symbolically, metaphorically, that is where I have been, and I think that's where we are as a collective, one way or t'other. So I'm just going to read this in-between card meaning to you. Endings hurtle us to the edge of our lives, to the in-between. The quiet and uncomfortable place is one we'd prefer to avoid, and we'd much rather find more familiar ground. It's here that we're no longer where or who we once were, and also not where or who we'll be someday soon. We're in the in-between, between the tomb and the womb. There's often a letting go involved, and grief or mourning, a death of self, of what once was. This card is one of endings, transitions, and new beginnings. That which was once important to us has changed or is changing. Our relationships, jobs, identities, ways of being. Transition, change, and rebirth are imminent. But before anything new can come, we must let what has been end properly. It's in the in-between that we're in our becoming. And while this can sometimes last longer than we might wish, it's actually a very exciting place to be if we choose to see it that way. The seeds of the future are beginning to take root, and if we're patient, our second harvest will be even better than the first. It's in the fertile void between what was and what will be that we plant seeds for the future in the dark soil. And while it's easy to mistake this period as a stage of growth in which nothing much is happening, beneath the surface, things have never been more active. And one day soon, a whole new garden will be born. So I wanted to read that to you because in a nutshell, that's what my life has felt like. And I really feel like if we are honest, and that is what Sagittarius is the blunt, bloody truth. And, you know, if a blunt truth has come out recently around you, for you, or to someone that you know that it is likely to happen. We are not victims. The planets are not doing things to us. Steve Judd, astrologer of 50 years plus, one of the things that I love that he says is the planets impel, not compel. When we talk astrology, we are talking forecast, not predictions. Predictions can be wrong. A forecast is a strong likelihood of certain things happening. So if I was to tell you that rain was likely today, then that would have been pretty much true. Is it raining everywhere, all day, all the time? No. But if we know that there is a likelihood of rain, then we can prepare ourselves. So we can either ignore the forecast and feel as though it's all happening to us. We can prepare and wear full waterproofs to protect ourselves. We could embrace it and go out and dance naked in the rain. How we respond to the forecast is down to us, particularly if we are aware of it. If we are hit completely unaware, it can feel like as if it's happening to us. So that's really what we're doing as astrologers. What makes me any different from any other astrologer is that there's only one of me, there's only one of each astrologer, one of you, each unique soul, one piece in the jigsaw puzzle each. And without all of us, there is no big picture. And Sagittarius is all about the big picture. The ruler of Sagittarius is the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is currently still retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So if you were to look at the astrology chart for this new moon, you will see that from the perspective of this new moon where the sun is, it's like an aversion. It can't really see Jupiter very well. So even though this is the ruler, there are other factors in this new moon phase that could be felt more strongly. So we really need to tap into Jupiter's energy intentionally. With Jupiter being in the sign of Cancer, we need to intentionally tap into our intuition. Cancer is ruled by the moon, that inner environment, our inner guidance system. We also, during this new moon, just a couple of days ago, Mars finally moved out of Sagittarius, where it has been for quite a while. And Mars is action and fire, and Sagittarius is fire, and Sagittarius likes to do many things. So it could be that if you're like me, you've started lots of things but not finished anything. That's very Sagittarius. We've got lots of ideas on the go, but not actually completing any of them. But Mars has just moved into the sign of Capricorn. So that gives us an opportunity to put some structure, some discipline, some commitment, some rules and boundaries into those things, those ideas that we've been creating. So this new moon is basically in a conjunction with Mars. So this new moon is at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. And actually, there are 7 new moons in a row, I think, that are all at 28 degrees, which is very unusual, which means all the full moons are at 13 degrees. So where the moon generally tends to sort of move further away and closer to and higher up and lower down, it means that the moon has been very steadily being where it is. 28 degrees new moon, 13 degrees full moon. So it wants us to really work this out. It's going to keep giving us that 28 degree energy over and over again. This new moon is conjunct Mars. It means that we can take action on all the things it's been motivating us to do while it's been traveling through Sagittarius. Capricorn is the mountain goat. Yeah. It gives us that point of starting one step at a time. We can reach our goal. And Mars is going to be in Capricorn until like the 23rd, I think, of January, around that time, the end of January time. So we've got a good period of time here now before. We don't need to wait until New Year's resolutions. I'm really not into that, because I don't think, just because it's January the 1st, we've got to start afresh. We can start aiming for those things now, because we've got that energy to tap into. We can't use being busy at Christmas as an excuse. And in fact, here in this household, we are actually dipping out of Christmas this year. We've got a big trip at the end of January to Mexico, and we don't want to feel as though, we're having to watch the pennies and all of that. We want to have a good time in Mexico. And it started as a joke because of how difficult and heavy everything has been this year. The pressure of Christmas felt quite strong, and actually we have a choice. So it started off as a joke about disappearing into the woods for Christmas and coming out when it's all over. And actually that is what we're going to do. We're going to take the camper van into the woods, light a fire, and wait until it's all over and come out the other side. When we go into the woods, we sometimes, can't see the wood for the trees, as they say. This Mars in Capricorn gives us a chance to start climbing up, so we have a bigger picture view. We can see more. That's that Sagittarius, Jupiterian big picture. What we don't want to do here is forge straight to the top too fast, wear ourselves out, and end up with our heads in the Neptune clouds, because this moon is strongly squaring Neptune. And because Saturn is right next door, there's that square with Saturn as well. It's actually Venus is traveling alongside this new moon. So Venus is very strongly squaring Saturn herself. Saturn, is going to be super strong because it's coming to those last degrees of the zodiac story, along with Neptune. Saturn reality, Neptune delusion, illusion. I don't know about you, but I have been having the most lucid dream time recently. I even had a slightly prophetic dream that I shared with a friend, because she is experiencing some grief this week, and I let her know my dream. The dream didn't make sense to me until I saw what had happened. And, so don't be surprised if your psychic gifts, your psychic intuition, the lucid dreams become stronger at the moment. Embrace that energy. Sit with it and see what it's bringing you. Saturn will be bringing those reality checks more and more and more in the world and to us personally. If you know your chart, you'll be able to see where that's all showing up. So remember, you can contact me. If you go to my website, you can see all the different readings that I do there. If you've not got a clue, then maybe just book a sun, moon and rising reading, and we can go through the basics. Or we can go really in depth and have a look at what the year ahead has in store for you from a forecast, not a prediction point of view. I've got to tell you that this composting phase that I've been in, this heavy, personally for me, one of the things that it really, really has done, it stripped me of my confidence, which is why you haven't seen me on here for a while. My Virgo moon, the need to be a perfectionist on things. I've sat and procrastinated before I've come online today and had a word with myself. Come on, Kelly, just do it, and whatever comes out comes out. It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm always saying this to you, so I needed to say it to myself today. Like the leaves on the trees are stripped bare every single year. They drop off, and that is how it has felt for me. Is there anyone out there that it's felt like that for you too? Please do contact me, share your stories with me. I share this with you so that you know that you're not alone in whatever you've been experiencing. And I always hope in my stories and my sharings that there is something healing in there for you, something of a relief to know that you're not alone, and we can see that this too shall pass. And what is it bringing for us? What is our inner guidance system telling us? So as we strive towards that goal, make sure we stop and tap in and review what's going on in our inner guidance system. What is it telling us? What are we avoiding? The blunt truth really is the title of this new moon for me. I've had many realizations through many situations that I won't divulge right now. But recently, the biggest problem with all of those situations has been the inability to face the blunt truth, to handle it, to talk about it, to confront it, and to feel it. So the avoidance has caused pain, either to that person or to someone else. So being a Sagittarius rising, I am quite often that person that will confront the blunt truth and, upset people along the way. But sometimes it's for our own good to see and hear and feel that blunt truth so that we can find ways of coping and realizing that once we've faced it and felt it, we can then move on from it instead of it hovering around in the background. So yet again, today I have a situation that I've got to confront, and I've actually tried to confront it before I came online today, and just got put on hold. So I'm actually just going to drive over and deal with it in person and, really just feel the feels. New moons are a time to go within, recalibrate the direction that we're going in. This Sagittarius moon for me as a Sag rising is showing up in my house of identity. So as I've said, I've been stripped bare. So as I come back to you, I invite you to notice the changes. I'm going through a little rebrand at the moment of, looking at how I come across. Am I a friendly local guide, or am I coming across as somebody who has the wisdom that I really do have, the experience that I really do have? How do I share that with you more authentically, more honestly, more openly? How can I help you with sharing those stories, with you sharing your stories with me? Would you like me to interview anybody and invite anybody on here so that it's not just the benefit of my experience that I'm sharing with you? Wonderful things can come out of conversations where we share stories and then share it with you. I'd love to hear what you'd like to hear more about. So I believe, which is a very strong, that really depicts, like I am, depicts an Aries, I believe depicts a Sagittarius. And they can be a little bit opinionated sometimes, a bit too strongly. But I think if we trust our intuition and go with it, as we start to follow the moon and become in tune with the moon phases, we start to naturally resonate with the moon's energy. And she rules our inner environment, which helps us then to trust our inner environment. If you feel disconnected or distrusting of your own inner guidance system, then I really highly recommend you make it a daily practice of just noticing where the moon is in the zodiac. Get yourself a moon diary. I always buy Yasmin Boland's Moonology. I don't get anything for promoting that for her, like I don't for Rebecca Campbell and her oracle cards or whatever I share with you. I just share it. It's because it is genuinely what I use to assist me. I've got my astrological software where I can go in and have a look at what the planets are doing, but I love my moon diary as well for a quick check just to see, where is the moon today? Oh, it's there. That's probably why. And to do things that help you to notice how you feel. So what I have done whilst I've been composting is I have created a workbook for the new moon and the full moons. It's still a baby project at the moment, so your feedback, nice feedback, is welcome. What I'm doing is, if you attend the online moon ceremony, then I will send the workbook to you for free, so you get to experience both. If you just want to do and hold your own new moon ceremony, so it's been very lovingly and painstakingly curated for you, because I'm not brilliant at tech. I'm not very fast, so everything takes me ages to do. And I really am, my perfectionism comes shining through when I do these things. So I really have put a lot of effort into creating a workbook that you can download. It's digital. You can print it off if you want. And it will give you an overview of the moon's energy. So I've done one for this Sagittarius new moon. It will give you a little invocation so you can open up your own little ceremony. And then you can read about the lunar news and what's going on in the planets. And then I give you quite a lot of tips, herbs and crystals and the tarot card that's all supportive and helpful for this moon phase. I give you a ritual that you can do. So this one is a manifesting new moon ritual to help you put those dreams out there and set those intentions. And I've even recorded so that you can fully feel into and embody this moon phase in your body through lunar yoga video. So when you download that workbook, there's a little clickable link, and that will take you through to a YouTube video that only people with the code can see. And then you can get on your mat and you can feel into it, because Sagittarius actually rules the hips, the low back, the lumbar spine, the thighs, and the liver. So it's been done with that in mind, and the kind of firing up some courage energy for you. So I hope that I'll either see you live online on Friday evening, which is tomorrow, that if you download the workbook and purchase that from me, that you tell me what your experience was from it. And just to kind of finish up here, it's just to contact me and let me know what's been going on for you, because me sharing my stories is great, but sharing your stories as well is, our stories help others. And my Virgo moon needs to be of service. My Virgo moon sits in my house of career. One of the things I feel as though I've been stripped of this year is, what is my career? I've been trying to take that old me with me, and the universe, my birth chart, it's been telling me no. And so when I look at my Virgo moon in that house of career, Virgo needs to be of service. The moon is how we feel emotionally secure. So I need to have a career. I need to be of service to you, to have that sense of security inside. So you are helping me by purchasing my workbooks, by joining me online, by having a reading. And if you, I'll put the link in with this podcast, but you can also find it on the homepage of my website. I remembered just a few days ago that I actually have a Buy Me a Coffee account, and I haven't actually been to it for 2 years. Can you believe it? So this is how we, we do things to ourselves. We have these things that can help us, and then when we get caught up in all our stuff, we forget that they're there. But having this space recently to sit down and be quiet, I've remembered all the things that I have, and the things that I share with you to help me in return. You could buy me a coffee. A little donation here and there helps me to then have this time to help you, so that we're doing that nice energy exchange of not all giving and no receiving, learning to ask for help and support, not just give help and support. Anyway, that's my authentic truth. from a Sag rising with a sensitive Cancerian heart. I send my new moon blessings to you, winter solstice blessings. Enjoy the return of the sun. If you can get up early on the winter solstice, then get up and see the sunrise on a return of the sun. Set your intentions, hold sacred ceremony for yourself, and take care. And I'll see you all again real soon. Thank you for listening.